Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rob, and in today's video, we're going to be going over on how to set up an abandoned cart flow for your Klaviyo so you can connect it to your Shopify store and make sure that you are recovering all those abandoned carts that you may be losing. Now, I just want to make it clear before we do get started, there is a huge difference between an abandoned cart flow and an abandoned checkout flow. And within Klaviyo, they name them the exact same thing. So a lot of e-commerce brands or users on Klaviyo get it totally mixed up. But the way to set up the abandoned cart flow is you have to set up some metrics into your Shopify store so you can track it within your Klaviyo. And that's what I'm going to show you today. So you have a no leak funnel and that you are recovering those abandoned cart flows as well as those abandoned checkout flows. So stay tuned, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment down below what other kind of videos that you would like to see. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay guys, welcome back into the computer. Like I said, I'm going to show you guys how to set up a abandoned cart flow. But before we get started, let me just show you the difference between an abandoned cart flow and a abandoned checkout flow. So Klaviyo names these the exact same, so we need to make sure that our triggers are correct. But it is good practice to have both of them set up. So I'm just going to walk you through on how this one is, the abandoned checkout is set up very briefly, and then I'll show you on how to add the added to cart metric on your Klaviyo account. So let's get right into it. So as you can see here on the screen, the trigger for this, and this is our abandoned checkout, is when someone has started a checkout. So that's a huge difference from what the abandoned cart is. The trigger for an abandoned cart is when someone has added to the cart. So let's go ahead and let me show you where to exactly find this flow. So first thing, what you're going to want to do is you're going to go create flow. And then when you're searching for the flow, you can just search for carts. And then you're going to want to select the one that says added to cart trigger. And what you'll see here is the trigger is added to cart. But when you set this up, you might have a red X right here because you do not have the added to cart metric installed on your Shopify store. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and show you right now. So there should be a button right here when it's red, and it should say learn more, and it'll take you to a web page that looks similar to this. Now this is where we're going to grab our snippet and import it into our Shopify store. So what you want to do is pull up your Shopify store, and you want to right click on added to cart and then select inspect. There we go. So as you can see over here on the right hand side, what we're looking for is if it says class or ID. So we'll go back to the Klaviyo document, and if it says ID, well, first off, if you have a Shopify 2.0 theme, you're going to want to use this. But if you have any other theme and it says ID on it, you're going to go ahead and copy this. As you can see on mine says class. So we're going to go ahead and select the one that says button without add to cart button without a button ID, and that's going to be this snippet right here. So we're going to go ahead and just go ahead and copy that, and then we're going to go into the settings of our Shopify store. So to get to this page, what you want to do is you're going to want to select themes, actions, and then edit code. From there, once your page loads, you're just going to search product.liquid. I already have mine pulled up, but you're going to want to select it. Then that script that we just copied over, we're going to want to paste it right here. So mine's already pasted here. So you're just going to want to paste it at the bottom of this page. And then we're going to go ahead and find where it says class name equals if you're using the class name. And we're going to want to, it should say added to cart right here, but we're going to want to change it to what it says on our Shopify store. So if we go back to our Shopify store, as you can see, it says class equals, and it says product dash form underscore added to cart button, right? So we're going to go ahead and copy that. So just do Control C. Then you want to go back to your themes where you inserted that script, and you're going to want to, in between these parentheses, insert exactly what it said on your Shopify store. So once you're done with that, you can go ahead and save, and you're good to go. Now to test if this works, go ahead and go back to your Klaviyo and we're going to go to analytics. We're going to select metrics, and you should be able to see added to cart. Now, when I was first setting this up for this account, it did take a little bit for everything to get pulled through and register. So be a little bit patient, give it maybe 10 minutes for it to actually show up on your Klaviyo account, but it will pull through. And if it doesn't, just make sure all your spelling and spacing is correct and that you're using the correct snippet. So just refer back to that guide that I was showing you. I can leave a link down in the description if you need, and you should be able, all your questions should be answered. But if you can't answer them, just reach out to me and I would love to help you walking through this process. So once we get this added to cart metric installed on our Klaviyo account, we can just go to our store. We can simply test it by adding to cart, and then that metric should pop up. So now let's get into how to set up the flow. So what you want to do once you have the added to cart metric installed on your Klaviyo account, just go back to flows. And then once again, we're going to create flow. We're going to go ahead and search for cart. And then select the one that says added to cart trigger. And then we can just name this abandoned cart. And make sure that this is green, and then you're all set to go. So we're gonna go ahead and create this flow. Okay, so once this is all set up, we're gonna go to our flow filters, and you'll see all these already installed in here, but it's good to add another flow filter on here just to make sure that we're not spamming every time someone leaves abandoned cart, that they're constantly getting spammed with the same email over and over again. So what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna go to flow filters. So what we're gonna do is add another flow filter. And we're gonna do has not been in flow in the last, this really depends on how aggressive you want to be. You could do 7 days or you could do 30 days. This is something that you can test, but just for a good start, just getting started out, 30 days is completely fine. And then what you're gonna do is just save that. So with this flow filter, if someone has been in this flow in the last 30 days, they will not go through the abandoned cart flow again. Now that might seem a little bit too long for you, and like I said, you can switch it to 10 days, 15 days, whatever works for you, right? This is your brand, and you're telling your story through these emails. So if you want to make sure they're getting that reminder, then go ahead and shorten that time period. Now let's get into the beef of the actual flow. So what I like to do, and I showed you guys on the abandoned checkout flow, is play around with the time. It has it preset to 4 hours, but you can always do, you can A/B test it by doing 4 hours and 30 minutes maybe. So let me just show you again how to A/B test that. So what you're gonna want to do is drag a conditional split right here and select the conditional split. Then you're gonna do a random sample, and we're gonna do 50%. We're gonna go say okay or save, and then we'll drag another time delay. And let's say for this time, we're going to do 30 minutes. Go ahead and select save. And then for, the first email, we can just copy it over and put it right there. So, 50% of people are going to get 4 hours, and the other 50% are going to get it 30 minutes after. You might see a little bit difference. You might not see a difference at all, but it's always good, just to test. You don't have to do this. I'm just showing you for demonstration purposes and trying to give you, some ideas on how to and what to test when you're, creating these flows. And then from here, you'll just want to drag this back over here. So the basic setup that I like to do is either a 3 to 4 email sequence. So the first email, I like to do a personal message from the founder. So this doesn't have to be any crazy design or anything like that. It could be a plain text email, just saying, hey, this is Rob from Arcanify. Saw that you left some items on your cart, wanted to know if you had any questions. You're trying to answer their objections and help them, walk them through the process to go to that next step to, start that checkout and eventually make that purchase. Like I said in my previous videos, and I'll link them in, we have a funnel, and we want to funnel them all the way through the funnel. So right now they're very warm, so we want to reach out, we want to give them a personal touch, letting them know, hey, we saw that you left this in here, why didn't you go ahead and make that purchase? Is there any questions we can answer for you, or anything that we can do to help you make that purchase? So that's email number 1. Email number 2, I like to show some sort of social proof, so we can show them, some testimonials, some UGC content, other people, using the product. You can also even add an incentive. If you're going to add an incentive, that kind of lets you go into like email 3 and 4, where you add, urgency and scarcity into email 3 and 4. But overall, I would recommend, that first email being very personable, because like I said, they're very warm. They're almost there to make that purchase. Let them know that the founder is taking note of the actions that they left in the cart, and try to answer any, objections that they might have. And then number 2, show them some social proof. So show them that other people are enjoying the product that they're about to buy. But make sure that, within these emails that you have a dynamic product being pulled through. So what a dynamic product is pretty much it, it's whatever product that they added to their cart is being pulled through in that email. So it reminds them what product they had added to their cart, so they can go and make that purchase very easily. And that's the basis of the thought process behind setting up the flow. Now, to get a little bit more technical, you would want to do maybe a 4-hour delay or a 30-minute delay, and then you can go a 1 day, 2 day, or if you're doing some sort of incentive, you can add some urgency or scarcity and say for the next 48 hours it's free shipping or 15% off. So you can, follow up with them, every 24 hours, and then you can do like 22 hours after that. So be creative with it and see what works for your brand, but just make sure, you're giving that personalized touch to it, and that you're, moving them on to the next flow. So some things that I do want to go over is, and I do this in all my other videos, just to make sure you have all your settings set up correctly. Make sure that you have UTM tracking on. So we'll turn smart sending off, UTM tracking on. What this does, it makes sure that we are tracking all the analytics that are going through. The reason that we turn smart sending off is if you have all the funnels set up correctly, they should only be in one funnel at one point in time. They shouldn't be in 2 funnels at once. So they shouldn't be receiving any overlap. So there's no point in delaying, because some emails might get skipped if they received an email a day ago and your settings are stuck at 24 hours of smart sending. So just to recap, added to cart is your abandoned cart flow. Started a checkout is your abandoned checkout flow. Make sure when you're setting these up that you have both them set up, but make sure you have the right messaging in each, and that you go ahead and install that metric so you can be tracking, and that you can make sure there's no leaks within your buying process, and that you can recover the most amount of abandoned carts and abandoned checkouts that you can. And with that being said, I hope you guys found this video full of value, and make sure that you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know down below what other kind of videos that you would like to see. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one.